Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you everyone for joining. This is a special webinar dedicated for Skills Development Group. I am Diana. I will be here today to ask all your questions and together maybe to discuss and to analyze some clarification or any other matter that you had on your mind or I had on my mind. So the agenda for today is very simple. We will have some details about what and how we will work within the skills development group, and then we will go to the question and answer session. Anytime when you feel you want to ask something so we can record your question and then respond, please type it within the question segment. And if you would like to pose your question directly, please raise your hand from your bar. I just wanted to mention that sometimes maybe you would like to kind of take the question directly within the dialogue. It will be a bit hard for me to do this because I will moderate and conduct this webinar alone, but I will be happy to discuss and to answer as many questions as possible at the end of my presentation, and hopefully we will have more clarity and we will start to collaborate in a more organized manner. I also wanted to mention that it's very hard for me to organize and for us as a team to organize this webinar to accommodate everyone from schedule and geographical location, but we did our best to accommodate the majority and also to be in the frame of terms and regulation with you and human ICT colleagues who are helping to conduct this webinar. So hi again. I just wanted to take a minute and to say that I'm Diana and Rusu. I'm working within Empower Women team, and I will be happy to collaborate within this championship with all the members that agreed to join the skills development group. I'm responsible for the knowledge management part of Empower Women, and I have a passion in working on innovations and skills development courses, and something that I think it's very important, and I think it's very actually also up to date in terms of 21st century skills requirements, and we will be talking a little bit more about this soon. Just a minute to take and to recall that we are still on the rally phase for being a 2016-2017 Champion for Change. It's still a competition. We didn't have selected yet the champions for change, but soon, very soon, so this is why we need to clarify all the questions and to start working. Just a reminder that the announcement who will be the champions will come from us on the 10th December. Until then, you will be rallying and competing with each other within 3 groups. And then you will continue working, those who will be selected, you'll continue working within these groups with us until the end of your championship. So on the webinar on the 15th of November, we discussed about the 3 groups and about the choice you have, and we had a deadline until Sunday 20th of November midnight for you to register. Thank you for making your choice, and thank you for being accommodating with the rules and following actually the rules and signing for these groups. Of course, it's always, a chance to change your group, but we will prefer to start working with you from the beginning to end because there is a logical framework, there is a logical continuation to all this work. And here, finally, we will start to speak a little bit more about skills development group, the group you selected. I want you to give my perspective on why skills development are important. And I decided to formulate it in a very, very simple way. In 21st century labor market, no one can afford to stop learning. Everyone is expected to make learning a lifelong journey. I think I'm learning something every day. At work, working with such wonderful champions and activists as you, and receiving a lot of requests from our stakeholders all over the world. I learn from experience and best practices in their country, in their community. And then, while scrolling the news and on social media, following a different organization or project that I think it's relevant for me, I learn every day something new. It's either learning on, something information that I didn't know. It's learning about an app. It's learning about the skills. Every day I learn something new. And together with you, I would like to collaborate and we make this learning available for thousands of women and girls over there, as long as men and boys, and to provide them an opportunity to access the information they probably do not have an opportunity or the accessibility to access right now at this moment. But together we will work hard and we will provide this information. I do believe that connectivity and affordability of information is very important. And if together we will make the information accessible, affordable, this will be a huge progressive step for all of us. So just a glance back on the webinar, what did we present? What we decided as a group on the 15th of November? We decided that you as a members of skills development group will contribute a learning resource, video game manual to empower women resources library on the topic of financial or digital literacy. This is the topic we decided to start the work. It doesn't mean that we will not continue with other topics, but for the early phase, we thought we will start with this. Why? As mentioned prior, is also because we are working on the financial literacy course. We will share more detail shortly, and then we would like you to be a direct contributors on that, to feel how your work is changing lives, not in maybe 1 year, but the short-term change. Then we invited you to share one or two stories answering the following questions. How basic financial literacy changed someone's life? You can speak about yourself, you can speak about your sister, brother, mom, dad, grandmother. You could base the story on the interview from someone in your community. So it's really up to you, whatever it's easier and also most interesting for you. I always feel that if a story is interesting and challenging for myself, this is also interesting and challenging for somebody who would have similar or the same interests. So please feel free to release your creativity and free mind and use this and take this opportunity to use the moment and really contribute the stories on financial literacy and from the angle you feel it will be more useful. Also, we would like if you will talk about what are the most useful financial products or services from people of different ages and backgrounds, why and how. For example, 5 years ago, my grandmother received her first debit card where she would receive the pension every month. At the beginning, it was a very challenging step for her, as I assume for everyone of her age. But now, after a lot of discussion about, why this is a good step for economy, for the society, why it's a good step for her, and what are the advantages, she actually told me one day that, you know, this is actually better. It helps me secure my spendings and also savings. So she is telling me in a very simple words so that I will understand. And I'm sure if I will convey the similar words to a person that is more familiar with the concept of credit or debit or saving card, she or he will understand the same. So we would like you to provide and to contribute stories of change with on financial and digital literacy with being a very simple language to be understandable for everyone. And when possible, please include data and statistics from your country or from your region or from your community. You'll be surprised that sometimes the resources, available resources in this field, they have um, resources and data and on, on the global level, but not so much on the country level or community level. So this will be a great add-on to our work. Of course, all the stories and resources will be directly uploaded to Empower Women, and we can speak about the system, how you can notify me, and then I can take story on the first receiver and start working with each stories, and maybe, if I have questions, I can get back to you for clarifications, or maybe I have suggestion on how to improve something, we can work together and so on. So let's think about the system. As for now, I think it will be useful to have Google Sheet where also you can add your contribution, and also please note that when we will do our report, we also will be able to see all your contribution in an automatic way. So all the resources and all the stories that you will share, it will be available for us. We also mentioned that currently we are working on the financial literacy course development. Previously, we spoke generally about what kind of contribution you can have. But you know what? If you want to go more specifically and actually help us in building our current course, or you have a feedback, please glance through the outline. Note that this is a still work in process, and your feedback is mostly welcome, and we can review, we can adjust, and so on. But basically, we have five kind of chapters, and if you would like to focus your work, the story, for example, of your contribution on either of this one, please feel free to do so. And also you can include this message in the form that I will share with you, and we will work together to include the story directly into the course. The stories will be additional material to the basic theory and the video included for each chapters. So, for example, I will not stop specifically to all the details of or the components, but let's take two examples and go through it so we know what kind of stories you can contribute. For example, chapter number 1 will be on 5 reasons why you should have a financial plan, right? Here we will discuss about why a financial plan helps you save money to invest a future need. So a story can be on that. Also, we will discuss about reducing stress level and giving kind of peace of mind, why the financial planning, it's important to have the security, you know. This month I'm saving this amount, the same next month, next month. So I have a plan and have a peace of mind of my savings as well. We'll speak about how to be ready for important life milestone, marriage, buying a house, and how a financial planning adequately is helping. Also, we will speak about budgeting and how it helps you manage changes. So basically, choose one of these and contribute your story. It will be directly linked with the current course we are working on. So the second chapter will be on the 4 common resources of income in household. And then we will speak about 6 common categories for expenses in a household. And 5 ways to better manage your expenses. Either these are informal, formal financial institution, whatever key messages we should be informed with and avoid illegal financial institution that charge high interest rate and don't help with credit history, for example. How we can focus on converting all essential expenses in the most efficient way. Please remember that the language for all of these stories that you will choose to contribute should be accessible. The story should be short but to have a meaning. Don't focus to contribute a long story with a very difficult theoretical approach. I'm not saying that this is not good. Yes, this is good. But if we want to tackle a more maybe informed mm, group of people. But if we want to be accessible for everyone in the world, for every woman and girl, for every man and boy over there who in most particular do not have access to this type of information, are not familiar with this concept, please make your language accessible and readable for everyone. How to upload a story. We received a lot of of emails asking this question. This is basically why we kindly ask you after the webinar, please take a moment, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and actually familiarize yourself with empowerment at work. What we do have under who we are, community, campaign, resources, join the movement. All of these components will help you navigate better on empowerment at that work. And basically, you as a prospective champion and as a champion, ultimately, you should know the platform by heart. You should navigate it freely like a fish in water, basically. So to upload the stories, go please to community, stories, share your story, click on share your stories, and then you'll receive a form you need to complete. This is, for example, what I see when I sign in to my profile and I follow the steps I just indicated. Please complete each section before submitting the story. Some of you send emails, oh, I cannot submit, something is wrong. Nothing is wrong at this point with the system. We kindly asked our colleague from ICT to check the forms for the stories as well as for registration of your profile, and we can assure that there is no mistake or technical glitch from our end. If you will contribute the stories or the resource by this matter, sharing all and following, all the segments, following all the steps, I assure you that the upload will be successful. Since a lot of questions were on how to create a profile, I just wanted to to take a minute as well and to remind you the process, and also to kind of make sure that you don't have any difficulties further on editing your profiles or actually completing it. So if you already have your profile, before contributing a resource or before contributing a story or make a contribution, a comment to e-discussion, please go to sign in and actually include your credential and then navigate on empowerment.org. If you don't have an account yet, please go to register, complete your profile, then go to your email, make sure that you click and you kind of confirm the registration. Then when you register or sign in, once you register, you completed the registration, sign in again and go to your name on the right, top right, view, edit your profile. You'll see the similar, window where I have it here. And then when you click to the view edit profile, you'll receive your information and you'll be able to modify it accordingly. You'll have an opportunity to change your photo, maybe if there is a mistake in your first or last name, change it, as long as profile info and my bio. Under my bio, please include that you are prospective champions, but please make sure not to include wrong information, because we already saw somebody, included under the signature that you are volunteering on empowerment.org, that you are champion for change. Unfortunately, we cannot approve this message. For now, all the applicants, all the 4,000 applicants that right now are considered the prospective champions, until the 10th of December, when we will announce who are the winners. We spoke a little bit about the engagement, about the stories, and please note that you will be primary scored on your contributions, stories, and resources. But I cannot emphasize highly that quality is definitely more important than quantity. Don't focus on sending 1,000 stories, found and resources. If you send one good one, your contribution will be scored accordingly, with maybe some people who send 10, but the stories are not clear, resources are not according to the, topic, and so on. Quality, more important than quantity. Definitely. Last but not least, you'll continue your engagement in our group of e-discussion. I saw a lot of emails. I will make sure this weekend to read all your contribution and as much as possible to respond to the question. I mostly noted that your comments were why this is a passionate point for you why you want to be part of this group. I think this is a great introduction among you guys. You can connect either if you are in the same country or you're on the same continent and so on. If you have a question for me in particular, feel free to kind of highlight that this is a question for me in particular. But I will do my best to read all the 200 comments, I'm so sorry for this, and to kind of engage with you and to respond to all of your questions and comments. Also, this will be the space to continue our discussion until the end of the rally. Sometimes the prospective champions send emails with very simple questions that, it's easier for you to take a moment to go to empowerwomen.org and look carefully, and you will find the answer. As you already understood, there are a lot of you this year, and we are so happy. But we also, it's a challenge for us to respond the same day to the amount of emails you have. So hopefully the discussion in this group will help us to, have a common framework, state of mind, and to diminish the number of emails that you are sending and our responses. So basically, we'll make our communication clear. At this point, this is everything I wanted to share with you. But please, if you have questions or any clarification needed from your end, this is the time to take all the questions, and I will be happy to answer all of them right now. Maybe we can start with some of you that raised your hand, and you will be able to pose your question by using the microphone. If by any chance something will be wrong with your connection, we will move to another prospective champions for posing the question. So the first, Joanne Green, you have an opportunity now to pose your question. Please unmute your microphone and please pose your question. Joanne? Unfortunately, Joanne, we cannot hear you. Maybe you will unmute and then we can continue the discussion. Agata Zborowska, if you have a question, please unmute your microphone and feel free to ask your question. No? Okay, so let's go to Anna Benjesai. This will be my last try, I guess. Anna, would you like to pose your question? Please unmute. Okay, maybe it's just easier for us to take the questions as they are, and just tackle all of them. Will we have this presentation soon? Mira is asking the question. Thank you, Mira. Sure. Today, after the webinar, I will share a follow-up email with with all the details that we discussed, presentation of course, a link to the Google form where you can include the name of a story you shared with the Empowerment at Work. This will help us, um, discuss among ourselves, and also maybe the email you are more reachable and so on. So yes, we will share the presentation today. After we will conduct the webinar and we will receive the recording from our ICT team. Also, this will be helpful probably for those prospective champions who unfortunately were not able to join the webinar. They will be able to inform themselves about the discussion, watching or listening the recording. Please, could you add in the skills development group, Musa Rabiatu, Musa, if you are part of this webinar, it means that you are a member of a skills development group, and you had an opportunity to basically sign as a part of this group until last Sunday, 20th of November, midnight. So everyone who did this process is part of this group and attending the rally as a part of skill development group. The message keeps saying that webinar will begin shortly. I'm not sure, Agatha, what was the problem. We received a confirmation from our ICT that everything is okay, so maybe you can watch the recording later for the parts that you missed. Apologies about that. Word count for online story, can't it be in a form of an interview? We normally advise that the story should be around 500 words. Of course, if it's in an interview, and yes, it can be, maybe you would like to develop it a little bit more, and then together we can work on diminishing, the word count and so on, and maybe to rearrange, maybe to think together about what is the logical process of having this. So yes, I would say for an interview it can go a little bit beyond, but normally short stories, clear stories are better. Another question is one of the requirements is to interview a person who has been empowered through financial literacy. Can we also give our own experience? Sure. Yes. If you want to interview, please do. If you want to give your own experience, you are more welcome to do so. It still says that the webinar will begin shortly. Oh, I think this is the question from 9 a.m. Let's go to another questions. I'm hearing, okay, we'll go to, can blog be shared as a part of a story too? Yes, you can share the blog, definitely. Normally the blog it's a little bit more theoretical, more with technical approach, but it will be interesting to learn more about financial literacy in a specific country, for example, and what are the government's maybe action to inform the population about financial literacy or digital literacy. So yes, blog is a format, a good format as well. Can I show financial empowerment through education? I think this question needs a little bit more development, but once we are educated to know the most important financial concept and how to differentiate those, how to use them in a logical and maybe very positive way, I think my view is that yes, we get more empowered. So Anisha, we can develop this question maybe through a story. Can we also upload stories on our own experience regarding skills development, or does it have to be people in our community? So I think we already tackled this story, this question. Definitely, either way is good. Please feel free if you want to be more personal, to have a more unique voice through your stories. And this is a question from Obeyolu Okoye. Um, Yes, definitely, Obeyolu. Please feel free to add your own voice. I think personal stories are even more interesting because you are share your perspective and your emotions come together with this, and you make yourself, closer to another people that might probably experience the same in terms of financial accessibility. Another question um, is actually another question is you're asking what will happen if you didn't register in the group until the deadline. Um, Actually, this is a very common question, and we try to understand each case by case and to basically, accommodate its request. But please, dear prospective champions, read carefully our emails. Take a little bit of 40 minutes or 1 hour to watch or listen our webinars and basically follow the rules. It's very hard for us to organize something in a very clear and understandable manner if the rules are not followed both from our side and your side. So while we've been a little bit more understanding this time, we will demand to respect the rules going forward. So my only pledge to all of you who are online now and who will watch the webinar recording later is to read carefully the emails coming from us, all the notification, check the spam folder because sometimes it might be redirected, and basically together commit to follow all the rules to just to make the process easier from both ways. So thank you, Musa, for addressing this question. Um, Another question is, oh my gosh, we have so many. At what time are supposed to start uploading the stories? Please feel free to start right now. You are free to upload the stories beginning with 19th of November until 9th of December. Please feel free to participate in a e-discussion and contribute some other thoughts and be as active as possible on empowerment.org. Please note that this rally is also to maybe compete, but also it gives you an opportunity to give back and share your opinions and views and be more active, connect with other people who think alike or who have a similar interest. So I hope will be an educational experience as well for you, and not only a competition per se. Okay, other questions? Um, there is some questions from Juliet also asking, if you already shared two stories, can you share more? As I said, quality of a story is more important than quantity. And if you have any doubts about the how a story should look or feel when you read, when you write this. When I will send the follow-up email, I will make sure to add 2 free examples of the stories, and you will feel the language, the length, maybe a little bit on the content. I will not send the stories maybe directly on the topic of financial and digital literacy, but it will be different maybe topic. But this will help you to understand generally how we work with the stories, how they should look like. And I hope this will be helpful. Um, we do have more and more questions upcoming. Um, right now, unfortunately, this is at the end of our webinar, but I will try to take 2 more. How soon we will be sharing the recording? As I said, today. Thank you, Florence, for the question. Um, what should I do if I cannot share, update the profile or share the stories? Please make sure before you want to do any contribution, please make sure to sign in. A lot of people, forget about this tiny but important moment. You cannot share the stories or update your profile or participate in any discussion if you are not signed in. So basically, use a credential, sign in to Empowerment.org, and then feel free to go anywhere on Empower Women and contribute your thoughts, stories, or resource. A lot of questions there are on the topics of stories, on the engagement, either it should be interview or maybe share a story itself. Just wanted to tell you that we discussed this a little bit earlier within the webinar. I'm sure these are the questions coming from the people who and prospective champions who joined the webinar a little bit later. So we definitely will have an opportunity to watch this webinar and receive all these questions. We did have only 45 minutes for this webinar. I hope I gave you the necessary details to go and to continue the rally. Just several points to highlight from my end. During the rally period, you have an opportunity to demonstrate your commitment to the women's economic empowerment agenda and serve as a competition period. So during this time, we will not engage directly one-on-one with you. We will probably send you an email or a question with some specification, or maybe, if I have questions on the story per se, while I will work with the story before the publishing it. But at this point, we will not have a direct connection. This webinar served to clarify some of your doubts or your questions. We will continue the discussion via the dedicated e-discussion page on empowerwomen.org. And in case of a major, urgent question that maybe you have, please feel free to send it to Empowerwoman email. Maybe you can write on the subject a question for Diana, or just to be easier for me to respond to this question. I'm looking forward to read all your stories, for contributions, to work together with you, and to receive all the materials you want to contribute. This is a very challenging moment for both, from our side and your side, because we want to make it, this short period, as more progressive in terms of results as possible. So good luck to both of us. I hope this was a useful time. See you soon in the next webinar, where we will share with you who are the winners and what are the next steps. Until then, have a happy rally. Thank you all for joining, and have a good day, evening, afternoon. My name is Diana. I will be working with you until the end of a rally, and after the rally, when you will become, or several of you will become champions. Happy to be here today. Happy rally.